Well, good morning, everybody. Getting started about 7:30, which is way later than I like to get started. But when sometimes you stay at these hostels, you got to take what you get in terms of a shuttle time that works for most people, right? So we just arrived at the trailhead and already climbing. This is going to be a tough day. So it's only going to be a little over 10 miles today, headed to a shelter. But there's some big climbs. The first peak, which is the highest peak we're going to reach today, it's called Saddleback. And it's up there over 4,000 feet. We're starting at 1,600. So we've got about 2,500 feet of climbing over the next, call it 5 miles. So we've got some work to do today for sure. So a number of us got set out at the same time, same hostel. Everybody heading the same direction. Probably a little different destinations, but we got work ahead of us. So lots of climbing. I'll keep you posted as we get closer and as soon as I get my breath. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll catch up with you up the trail. Got a pretty little pond. We'll probably see a couple ponds today, and as clear as the skies are getting, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have some nice views once we get up to Saddleback. I know that's unusual for me, but we might break our trend. We're pretty. This is called Ethel Pond. Ethel, if you're watching, you've got a very nice pond. All right, folks, we are still about a mile from the top of Saddleback. So this is kind of some of the trail we've been climbing here. Just rock slab stuff. We had a little bit of rebarb steps, and we're about to break over or break through this tree line, and I believe we'll get into probably at least a half a mile or more of just open rocks without trees. So we're making progress, albeit slow, I can tell you that for sure. All the guys I got out of the car with, they're all younger. The first one was probably half my age, and the way they're gone, they took off quickly. But I'm pacing myself for the entire 10-mile trip, and this, albeit the largest of today's climb, I'm smart enough to know it's not the last of today's climb. So I need to keep fuel in the tank to get there, get all the way. So you got to know your own body and what you're capable of doing, and don't worry about everybody else. So that's what I'm doing. So overall good day. The weather's beautiful. Got a little breeze, and it still should be in the low 80s today, but that's down in Rangeley. We're a good bit higher, so I got a feeling it won't be quite that high. All right, let's get to the top. All right, everybody, we are still climbing. There's some other people up here. We're still climbing. It's kind of hazy out there. So you start to see the ripples of the mountains. big one. Some big mountains in the distance. But we got a ways to go. That there is our destination, which is Saddleback. And I'll explain more why they call it that when I get there. But that's 2/10 of a mile away. So let's get busy, we'll climb up there. All right, everybody, we made it to Saddleback Mountain, the peak of at elevation 4116, so 4,116 feet. And I'd like to tell you we made great progress today, but it's been slow and steep. So yeah, I think I did 5 point something miles in about 4 hours, so not really tearing it up, but a little bit better than 1 mile an hour, that's for sure, which is I have experienced in recent past. I believe that is a ski slope over there. Beautiful mountains. So, Saddleback, why they call it Saddleback is if you were looking at a profile of this mountain, imagine a cowboy saddle on a horse. This would be, we would be at the very back of that saddle, and then down there would be where the cowboy sits, and up there at the top of that mountain would be the imaginary saddle horn. Now they don't call that the saddle horn right there, they call it the horn, but that's what they mean. It's like a saddle horn, and that's the seat of the saddle, and where we're standing would be the saddleback. So that's the whole story on that deal. So here we are. I think it's a good time to stop and take a break, and maybe eat a few calories before pressing on. So hope everybody's having a great day. Got some great views going on here, and it's just a beautiful day to be up here. All right, everybody, I completely got the scale of this Western saddle a little off. I mean, a lot off, actually. So from up there, which is where we were standing, you can see the sign that I was in front of earlier, to where I'm standing now is the back of the saddle. All of this is the back of the saddle, okay? That's the back of the saddle. That over there is the saddle horn. Yes, that's the horn. And all this down in here represents the seat of the saddle itself. You start to see the shape of it, right? You can also see how far down I've got to go to begin climbing up to the top of the horn. So there's some work here, that's all. That's in terms of actual trail miles, that's probably about 1.5 miles to the top of the horn. Okay, so that's the work that's in front of us, and let's get after it. I'm taking it slow, and I don't care. So we're just relaxing today. I've got I'm over halfway. I've got 5 miles to make it to the shelter that I'm going after, And you know, I don't think there's any rush to hurry up and get there. So here we go. Let's head down the mountain and then head up that one right there, and I'll talk to you as we get closer to the top. All right, everybody. That's where we were, on top of the Saddleback. As you recall, we came all the way down, all the way down, all the way down through the seat of the saddle. And finally, we made it up here to the top of the horn. 4,041 feet. It's just less than 100 feet, I think, less than the Saddleback. So let me tell you something, folks. That's more than a little leisurely stroll. Coming all the way down through there on those rocks and finally up here. That's a big walk and some pretty good climbing. So yeah, here we are. Let's just check out some of the views we have of other mountains in the distance. Kind of hazy, so it's kind of hard to see, but I can see with my bare eyes 3, 4, 5 layers of mountains back through there that are just kind of covered in the haze. Maybe you can just barely see the edges of them. So pretty good so far. We got some more work ahead of us though, folks. Of course we do. Of course we do. All right, I believe we're now going to go after that one right there. And I believe that is Saddleback Junior. Like a smaller Saddleback. Okay, Saddleback Junior, I believe is what it's called. We'll check it out and start heading down that way. That's all downhill. That's where we're going. Through these woods and up that hill. It's about 2 miles to the peak. We'll be up there in a little while. It won't be real quick. All right, folks. That's where we're headed. That's where we came from. All this is an effort to get to the top. Excuse me. Of Saddleback Junior. I tell you, there ain't much junior about this Saddleback, if you ask me. Whew. It's steep. And I don't know if you can tell, but these rocks are shiny. Shiny means wet. But I'm dripping in sweat. But the only way to get there is one foot in front of the other. We're about we're less than 2 miles from our destination, which is a shelter. It's on the other side of this mountain. So we need to climb this mountain and head over the back side and down. wouldn't be there. All right, here we go. All right, everybody, we're still not quite to the top. I thought this would be a good spot to give you a perspective of where we've been today. So right there is Saddleback. That's the back of the saddle. And we started the hike off the back side of Saddleback all the way down. It was over 5 miles just to get to top of Saddleback. And then we went down into the saddle. And then we came up over here on the horn, saddle horn. So since then, came all the way down the horn to those thick woods and finally up these rock slabs to get us to where we are now, which is just shy of the peak of Saddleback Jr. So let's get on up here at the top of Saddleback Jr. and everything else is going to be downhill for us. All right, everybody, we have made it to the top of Saddleback Jr. I can tell you Saddleback Jr. is probably the bigger, at least the roughest climb of the total 3 we had today. So as a review, that mountain in the center of your screen is Saddleback. Now keep in mind, we walked up the back side of Saddleback early this morning. That is over 5 miles into our hike there. Then we came down and we hiked up the saddle horn, or the horn, similar height to Saddleback, just a few feet shorter. And then finally we hiked way down, way down into that valley and popped back up here to finally reach the top of Saddleback Jr. at 3,655 feet. So that's that concludes our big climbs for today. It is so quiet and serene up here. All you can hear really is the wind blowing. I haven't seen another person in a long time. It's like you're kind of on another planet. So I'm gonna head back down towards the shelter. That's the trail right there. And do all the things I got to do this evening. We got about a mile, which will probably take me about an hour because I know this is going to be pretty rough terrain down. And you got to gather up water, cook some dinner, might even put up a tent tonight. I don't know, it depends on how many people are in the shelter, if any. I don't know. We'll just have to check out what we're getting ourselves into and make that determination once we get a little closer. What a day. I tell you right now, folks, it's been a hard day of climbing, and you start considering these long mountains in the distance and know that I climbed up that one and that one, then down, and then climbed up this one. That's a long way out there. Kind of gives us some perspective. All right, let's get it done. All right, everybody. Welcome to our home for the evening. This is the Poplar Ridge lean-to. Yeah, I said lean-to. We call them shelters down in the south. I think I've said that before. But I've kind of already spread out, clothes hanging up and trying to dry, and got my bedding laid out and whatnot. I've had dinner. Yeah, had my specialty of ramen noodles. This time I had 2 packs of ramen noodles with soy sauce flavor, with giblets of beef jerky put in there, and it's pretty delicious. And yeah, that's about it. Drank some water, ate a couple snacks, had some Funyuns, brushed my teeth, and kind of done what I can do. Just kind of settling in, looking at my plan for tomorrow. It's going to be a tough one, but we'll talk more about tomorrow. And hope everybody's had a really good day. It was 10.5 miles to be exact today, 10.5, and pretty rugged terrain, just up and down over mountains. The first of which was Saddleback, and then the Horn, and then Saddleback Junior, which I think was probably, in terms of actually the terrain, was probably the toughest. But overall, pretty tough day, but a rewarding day in that we had some nice views, and made a plan. I was able to complete it, so that by itself is rewarding. So I hope everybody's had a good day as well, and we'll look forward to catching up with you first thing in the morning.